So we're down here in the bottom of the quarter panel here, the dog leg as they call it, and this is the inner structure. I've showed you guys this before. We're gonna clean this up a little bit. It's just got a little surface rust, nothing real bad. We're just gonna kind of get in there with our wire brush. I've even got an assortment of little brushes to go on the end of my drill. I'm gonna get in and just kind of clean this area up the best I can. And that's really all they recommend for the products that we're going to be putting on here. We're going to be putting on the internal frame coating from Eastwood. And all they recommend is that we just kind of work off some of the heavier rust, some of the scaly stuff as they call it. And we really don't have much of that on here at all. There's just a little bit right there. I'm going to hose it down, man. I've been saying that through this whole project. We've been hosing all of this down inside of here. We've got it oozing out of the trim holes, and we want to do that down in here too. And then we're going to weld it shut with a nice new patch panel with no more rust. And that will complete the rust repairs on this side as far as I know. So fingers crossed we don't find anything else. I've been looking at this rocker panel. It seems to be fine. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. All right, so I got in there, cleaned it up pretty good. I mean, there's no more scale or anything like that. It looks like up inside of there, there's actually some access holes beside where the seats are. So I'm gonna pull the seat out. And the way this seat comes out is you kind of get over here, down at the bottom and shit on it. All right, there we go. Good Lord. Should just pull right out of here after that. Yeah, just like that. Well, you can see more of the floor there. And it's all still there. That's good news. Got a couple of bolts under here. One on each side, it looks like. Okay, check it out. We got these holes right here. I wasn't even aware those were back there until I just happened to kind of be looking up through there. You can see there's where the patch panel is. All right, what do you guys think? Look at that. We got this stuff oozing out everywhere. Let's put a little more out here. We want to coat all of that. All right, so we got our Eastwood coating in there. I think we did a pretty good job, and we got to it from the back side, which is really cool. While I was letting that dry, I went ahead and got in here and stripped the door down, and I still got to do a little bit right there, but look what we found down here. Basically from the body line down, someone's wiped it at one point. That is all filler. So we'll grind out that old filler because I'm convinced it's every bit of 30 years old, and we'll put in our new filler. It only needs a skim coat. It's a really light coat, so shouldn't be too hard. Go ahead and grind that on out of there and then re-wipe it again, and we'll work it down like we always do and get it nice and straight. But for now, we're going to go ahead and jump back on this. I want to make my patch panel and get that welded in there and get that all closed up. When we get it closed up, like I mentioned before, we'll jump in behind it again, recoat everything. I mean, we're just going to hose it down like we've been doing. And I just don't see how it could ever rust again, as much of that stuff as we're getting inside of there. Just went ahead and headed on down here and got this other door stripped down. We got the mud out of the back door. We found a little spot here. Look at that. Not thick at all. So we'll get it ground down. We want to add in all new bodywork. We don't want to go with all that old bodywork. As you're grinding it down, you can start to see where it's kind of cracking and things like that. And you don't want to leave. I mean, that stuff could be 30 years old for all we know. So we just want all fresh bodywork. And so we'll rework those areas. It'll be fine after that. So there's our patch panel. I think that'll get the job done. Okay, so got all the mud out of the door. This is the front passenger side door, obviously. It's the last door that needs to be straightened out. And I had a little filler there that I showed you a minute ago. I just wanted to show you guys that I did take all of that old filler out, in case any of you were wondering. So we've been in here working. I got the wire brush, got all the paint worked out inside this jam. You can see it's got a lip right here where these two panels are separate. So I just kind of split it right there for now and just kind of went up the edge. Got all of this all clean. Looks really nice. And I was noticing up here, I found some screws. I already took them out, but they go right up through here. And there's one right here. I'm kind of messing around with it, and this looks like it's going to come out like it's just a little frame, a window frame. I'm going to see what it does. I've never messed with this. I have no idea how it works. I don't know if I need to get on the inside here and pull some of this out first. I don't know. Let's find out. I just thought I'd show you guys that. I've been cruising along, getting some body work done. I'll show you some more of that here in just a minute. And if I could get this out of here, that would be very helpful when it comes to painting it. But man, I'm convinced we're going to have to do something on the inside of there. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this is coming off now. Check it out. Okay. Oh, there we go. Look at that. There's just a little channel that slips right over that. Okay. Now maybe we're getting somewhere. Let's see. I wonder if this comes off the same way. I told you I've never done this before, so if you're yelling at the TV right now, just hang on. We'll get it figured out. I'll do it without tearing it all up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get on the inside. It only makes sense that something's in there holding that. I don't know. Let's find out. All right, that looks like that's gonna come out of there pretty easy. Yeah, cool deal. Yeah, sure enough. We got some screws on the inside. There's that one I could see, and probably some more up here. Let's get up in there and find out. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there we go. Okay, hang on, we're getting somewhere now. All right, just gotta be really careful with this. Oh, that's awesome. Man, that's gonna help a bunch having that out of the way. Okay, let's see if that helps us any out here with this piece, because man, this would be awesome to have out of the way. I just can't get it to come off of there. What is holding this? Somehow that comes out of there. I'm trying to do it without tearing it up. Maybe it comes down this way. Oh, check it out. Duh. There is a screw here. Good Lord. A bunch of screws. No wonder it won't come out. All right, now maybe it'll... Oh, yeah, look at that. It's practically about to fall out at this point. All right, yeah, it always helps to pull all the screws out, right? Hey, that's awesome having that out of the way. I didn't even know that was going to come out of the way. Now we could clean it, get all that nice and clean, because it had that little channel right there, and that was such a pain. I've been digging in there with wire brushes and 80 grit sandpaper, and I never could quite get that channel clean the way I wanted to. So that's perfect having that out of the way. We'll get in there, clean up all around the window frame, and if need be, we'll run our rust encapsulator spray inside of here. And also, while we're in here, check it out before I do that. Look right there. That is so cool that we can actually get inside of there now and clean all of this out and put in new stuff. Man, I'm glad that's still all good. It's nice to be able to verify that everything in there is good. Yeah, we'll take all this out of here. All this is that old urethane, like window urethane. Just big globs of it. And that's what you want. I mean, you want to get a big old glob of that stuff in there so it doesn't leak. But we got to get all the old stuff out so we can put new stuff in. And how cool is it now that we'll be able to get in there, treat everything, paint everything with all fresh paint. put all new sealer in there so nothing leaks later. I mean, that's perfect. This is exactly what you want right here. Okay, so I'm trying to do all this right. Check it out. Went through and just got everything all cleaned up with my wire wheel. Even this piece here. Look how nice and clean that all is now. I'm going to get in behind here and spray a little bit of our rust encapsulator just in behind here. It had a little bit of surface rust, nothing major. So that'll take care of that. But what I'm wanting to do is kind of put everything back together the way it came apart. So it's a little easier to keep track of. I put my screws back in the holes like I always do. I'm going to put this one right here where it goes. Put a little tape on it. Okay, like so. These other screws, these are what held it from the inside, so we'll bundle all of these up and just tape them right here onto the window. These two things here we'll tape together and keep those with the window as well. And I tell you, every time we take something off of this, this is what we're left with, just a whole bunch of crud. I mean, look at all that. It feels good knowing that you're getting rid of all of this, making it so much nicer. Now we can get in there and we can prep all of this. Really easy, nothing's in the way. Under the drip rail, that was in that channel earlier and we couldn't get to any of it. So now we'll be able to get in there and prep all of that properly. Getting right up inside of here, let's peel out some of this loose old seam seal up in there. Can you see it? Really getting this area nice and clean, ready to treat. So anyway, got that pretty cleaned out up in there. Check it out. We should be able to run through, spray our stuff on there, and then it's ready for primer. Ran me a little bit of a loose mask, nothing crazy. But I didn't want to get overspray on any of that upholstery stuff in there, and I don't want it all over this quarter panel, and I don't want it all over my bodywork either. So just kind of masked off the area just a little bit. I'm going to come in here, we're going to dust on some of this rust encapsulator here. This is the internal frame coating. I'm just going to put it right over this rust. It's nothing but just a little surface rust, and I got most of it off, so really about the only area that's bad, or I wouldn't even call it bad at all, is just right inside of here. So I think as long as we get enough product in there, we should be good enough. Get right here in this little channel. I've got some out here. Let's let that dry. I'll add another coat and I think it'll be good. When I stuck the extension tube on there, there's a little hole right here. I think I could get down in there. See if we can spray some of this stuff down inside of there a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's awesome. So there you have it. Figured I'd check in with you guys again. The bodywork's done on the passenger side. We're finished up. It's ready for primer at this point. I think everything else will block in once it's primed. So anyway, what all did we have to do? Well, we had a little dent up here. And then of course I showed you some of this stuff earlier. And there it is with the glaze. Now what we've done, just to kind of show you my setup, I got long, medium, short blocks. I've got round blocks. We've gone from 36 grit, 80 grit, 120, and all the way to 180. And everything is super smooth now. That's what we finished it out with, some 180. Really, really nice and smooth. It ought to prime in just fine. We'll hit it up about 3 coats of primer surfacer, and then it'll be ready to block. So I think I made up my mind. We're going to go ahead and remove these clips. I can't prep behind them with them in the way, and I really need to prep that, you guys. So These need to come off. I think they'll come off rather easily just by drilling them out. The way these are designed is that they go in the hole and they swell out, and that's what holds them on. I will modify them. I'll put a screw through there and make it to where we could put a nut on the back side. You know, I'll weld a screw right to this clip. And you can access all of these from the back side except for maybe this one. I think this one might be a little difficult to get to. We'll see. Even if we can't find these clips, we can reuse these as long as we don't tear them up getting them off. But they've got to come off regardless. I can't paint them with it on. All right, that's exactly what I want right there. We'll grind off what's left off the back side here, make it nice and smooth. See that there? That's just the part that was sticking through the hole, the part that swells out and keeps it from falling out. Well, now we've got a nice flat surface here. We'll put a bolt through there, weld it on if we have to, and we'll actually be able to reuse that just fine. Of course, the best part is we can now prep the area. I mean, look at that. We didn't want to paint that. That's terrible. That is so much better. Some of these are kind of slightly misshapen too, and with them being off the car, I can actually get in there and straighten them out and test fit them, make sure that they fit inside the channel on the trim itself. And once I get it all nice and dialed in, we'll be able to put it back on the car. We'll be spraying it with all of our rust. You know, we'll clean this off with a wire brush and spray it with our rust inhibitors and things like that before we ever put it back on the car. So we managed to overcome a few obstacles on this one. Getting the quarter glass out, I feel, was big time. Being able to get in there and treat that metal, that surface rust that was behind there, and of course this little area in here, I think that's great. I'm excited on that. I'm so glad that we managed to get that out of there. Like we mentioned before, it had that little channel right there, and I just could not get in there to prep the area right. And I've been kind of stressing out over it, to be honest. I just didn't know what I was going to do about it. But look, man, we figured it out. First time I've ever done that, we figured it out. It wasn't bad at all. And of course, these trim clips, I think that's big time as well. I think we should just roll with it. Let's see if our luck holds out and see if we can't get this wing window out of here. It's looking easy so far. I mean, we've got some screws here that are super easy to get to. I think once we pop those out, there may be a little something down here. I'm not really sure. Usually that channel will run down in there at least a little bit. So let's pull these screws out. Looks like maybe another one in there. Let's just see where that gets us. So looky there, it's already coming out. Let's see if there's anything down in here holding us up. Okay, here we go. You can see they gave us a nice little access hole there, and in behind here is a screw. So we'll just go right through here, pop this last screw out. Look at that. Look how easy this car comes apart, man. How cool. Not to worry, it's right there. Oh my God. Practically jumped off the car at that point. Awesome. Another victory. Check it out. Now we could get in there and prep all of that super easy. And we could do any kind of rust proofing that it might need. Man, that is so much better. I got some 180 grit sandpaper here, and I'm just kind of going to go around all these edges now. So much easier not having that wing window in the way, obviously. And what'd that take, like 5 seconds to pull that out of there? I mean, seriously, it would have been so stupid to not pull that out of there. So, let's get all of this work. Man, I'll tell you what, you guys, this thing right here has been worth its weight in gold. I got this little wire brush wheel at Harbor Freight for like $5, and it's actually holding up quite well. It's very soft, like the bristles. so it's not, you know, going to damage the metal or anything. And I've been using it to get kind of in these little hard to reach areas. I mean, look how easy that came off of there. Now I just go back with my 80 grit, or actually we're using 180 on this part. Got my 180 here. You know, just go back over it to get that, you know, that tooth. You want that tooth. That's what they call it. And all that is the just scratching the surface so that your materials will stick on top of it. You wouldn't want to leave it, you know, as a wire brush. You'd want to go back and rough it back up with your sandpaper. But this definitely gives you a head start. It knocks that old paint right off of there. It'll knock the surface rust right off of there. And then all you gotta do is just go right back over it with your sandpaper really quick. So I thought we'd do something a little different on this side. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these doors off. Some of you guys were asking if we were going to do the door jambs, and yes, we are going to do the door jambs. It seems a shame to go through all this trouble to make the outside of the car look good, and then you're going to open the door and you're going to see these old jambs that don't look all that great, you know what I mean? So I've already got started, popped all the screws out of the seal plate here, and man, look how good that metal looks underneath there, y'all. I mean, it's like time didn't even touch this part of the car. It's perfect. Nothing going on in there. Awesome. I went ahead and took this loose. You guys, you know how to do this. You guys know a trick to this. I am all ears. I didn't see any way to take anything apart in here. It's all spot welded in. I don't even know how you service this. I didn't see any screws, nothing. If there's some way to clip this apart, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I went ahead and just kind of ground the thing loose. Not to worry, when we put all this back together, I'm going to drill this out while I have it off of the car, and that way we can replace it with something new. So not to worry there. But now we've got it all loose, and I'll get the bolts popped out of it. We'll get this off of here. And I know ordinarily you'd probably put a floor jack in here, but my boy decided I didn't need the floor jack this weekend. He borrowed it from me and he didn't bring it back. So some of you guys know him as Low Love Life. Go check him out over on YouTube. He's got a nice little channel over there working on an old Chevy Love and a Copart BMW. If you guys stop by there, feel free to stop by in the comment section and tell him his poor old dad's out here working without the jack. Probably gonna hurt his back. All right, let's see what she looks like under this one. Oh, we leave one in it? Oh, we sure did. Hang on. There we go. Oh, some more of that beautiful metal. Look at that. No rust, not even surface rust. That's awesome. It's a good thing we went ahead and pulled them doors off of there. I mean, besides the fact that we're going to have a much better paint job, you know, having the jambs look just as good as the outside of the car, but I mean, in between where the door and the door hinge meet, I mean, that's rust, and that needs to be treated. Yeah, it'd be a shame to go through all this trouble of trying to rust-proof this car, you know, and fix its problem areas, and then just leave stuff like that. I mean, 5-10 years, I don't know. That could definitely become a problem, I would think. Man, that jam sure is looking good. We'll get this post done next. Before I could do that, I'm gonna have to get around here on the inside. Let me see if I can get some lighting going here. We'll have to pull some of these trim screws out. We'll have to pull that trim out too, this piece right here. That's gonna have to come out of there. And that holds this in place. And this kind of wraps around this corner, if you guys can see. And it's gonna have to get taken out of the way. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Cool thing about these is if we need to, we can add extras down through here if we need to help hold this. That trim mostly holds it in place. But now that we got the screws and the trim and everything out of the way, we can come through and just kind of unstick this from this pillar. And the reason being is we need it out of the way so we can go ahead and finish working our paint off, but also we want to back tape this edge, meaning we're going to actually stick our tape to this back edge, run our plastic inside of here, and then that'll keep the paint, the overspray from going inside the car, and it'll keep our paint out here where we want it. All right, I went through with the wire brush, kind of cleaned up my hinges a little bit, got a little of the surface rust off. You can see there where we've gotten pretty much the whole pillar worked down, minus a little bit we got to go around the edges there. I'm gonna go ahead and take the trunk lid off of here so that we can get inside of the jam, and we'll do the jam as part of this quarter panel when we start priming. The best thing I know to do when you're by yourself, you don't have nobody to help you get this stuff off of here, just throw you some soft rags over on each corner. This goes for hoods as well. I don't recommend doing this by yourself, but sometimes you just ain't got a choice. Here's my hood prop there. See if we can do this without tearing everything up. So I've been up in here kind of cleaning out this channel. This is where the rubber seal goes in for the deck lid, obviously. And had a little surface rust down in there, nothing major, no pitting or anything. So just a light little brushing with the wire wheel is taking care of that real nice. My wire wheel's starting to wear down a little bit, but to be expected. I mean, golly, we've been using the crap out of it. We've done this whole side with it. So she's holding up pretty well. Not bad for what was it, man? Like $7 or $8, if that. So probably pick me up a couple of those next time. Getting in here, kind of cleaning up the jams, getting in everywhere where I couldn't get my little wire wheel, and I went ahead and took the latch off here, the striker, and took it over to the wire wheel, cleaned it up really nice, both sides. It's got this little plate that goes in between the latch, kind of a little spacer there. Went ahead and cleaned it all up, and look, I even got the screws all nice and shiny cleaned up. So we'll be sure and paint all of this when we paint the car, but now having that off of there, that's just another little rusty spot, just surface rust, but it's just another spot that we can get in there and clean off. I'll probably take the wire wheel over it, but you can see here how easy it comes off. I mean, that's just a Scotch-Brite pad, and it's already just about off of there. So anyway, we'll be able to get in there and clean that all up real good now that this striker's out of the way. Oh yeah, that's freaking awesome. Look at that. So at this point, I think we're prepped. We're ready to go. I just got to get all this dust blown off of here. So I'm going to do that right now and get it ready to mask. We'll mask off this whole side, get it all ready to spray. So I've gone through, done all my back taping. Very simple. You just back tape all the edges, leave the sticky side out. Now, you guys see me probably do this a million times. I'm just going to run our plastic over it, drape it down, and just cut out everything we need to cut out. Super easy. The plastic sticks right to the tape. The tape is all around the edges, and this is known as back taping. Very simple process, and I do it around the entire car, all around the parameters, all around inside of the door openings. You know, the wheel wells, they've all got tape in them. See that? Can you see that? Okay. Everything's got tape all around the trunk and everything. I even go through and I tape up my taillight holes. You might see some trim holes that have tape on them as well. That way we don't blow overspray inside of there, because this all have plastic over it. It'll be covered, but we can still blow overspray down inside here and get it all over all of our chrome parts. We don't want that. So I do go through and tape as many of the holes as I possibly can. Some of them you can't get to the back sides of them, but like stuff like this, I'll go through and I'll put tape on the back side of all of those holes because I can actually get to those. All right, so we've got everything wrapped up. Everything's staged, ready to go. We've trimmed out all of our plastic. The only thing exposed is the parts that we actually want primer on, so we should be good to go at this point. Before we go any further, we do need to mix up some Self-Etch Primer. We've got a lot of bare metal there, and our 2K primer won't stick to the bare metal. That's our high build primer. It's not going to stick to the bare metal. You have to use a Self-Etch Primer or an epoxy primer sealer, something that's okay to spray over bare metal. And that's what this stuff here, this is an etch primer. I get this from O'Reilly's. It's a 1-to-1 mix. You're going to go one part of this and one part of the activator here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that mixed up. And it doesn't take much. We went over this in a previous video. It does not take a whole lot of this, because all you're going to do is put a very, very thin coat, and that's it. Basically, the coat that we're going to spray on here, you could still see through it pretty much. So it doesn't take a lot. Very easy mix. We're just going to go half and half on this. I'd say probably about right there. All right, I'll get this mixed up. We'll get it in the gun and we'll start spraying. All right, there we are with the Self-Etch Primer. You kind of see how you can kind of see through it just a little bit. That's about all you want on there. You probably noticed I didn't put any on any of the bodywork, and that's what they recommend, is that you just put it on the bare metal only. You leave it off the bodywork best you can, and that's what we've done through here. So anyway, all that's done. We got the doors over here. They're done, and again, we stayed off the bodywork on both those panels. We're mixing up primer now. This is the 2K high build primer. This is what we're going to go back and block down later to get everything all nice and straight. There it is there. This is a 4-to-1 mix. You're going to get 4 parts of the primer itself, and then you'll get 1 part of the activator. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up some of that right now. All right, and that 1 part activator. All right, that should do it. Mix this up really, really well. And we'll start spraying again. We're going to do 3 coats in all. That should give us plenty of material to go back and block back down later and get everything nice and smooth. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do 3 coats in all. What I'm going to do on this one, since it does have a lot of body work on it, we'll go through and we'll hit all the body work first, get all of that coated, one nice even coat, give that a chance to kind of soak in, and then we'll come back and we'll primer the whole thing with 2 more even coats over the entire panels. Okay, here goes coat number 1. Okay, so there we are with the first coat. We got some good coverage. I don't see the bodywork bleeding through or anything like that, so I think we're good to go. We'll start hammering our next coat. All right, let's mix this up another batch. We put 2 coats on so far. We're gonna do 1 more and call it a night. All right, I'm gonna hit this up with 1 more coat and then I'm going to bed. It's getting late. Okay, so I lied. The primer actually set up fairly quickly, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit it up with my guide coat and get it all unwrapped, and then I'll go to bed. So anyway, let's get this on here. A lot of you guys have seen me do this a million times. For those of you guys that don't know what guide coat is, this just gives me something to go back and block sand off later. And once all of that black paint has been blocked away, you know that you're left with a nice flat surface. And if it just so happens that any of this black guide coat is left after the blocking is over, then you know that is a low spot and that you'll have to do something about it. So that's all it is. Just kind of gives you something. It's, you know, a guide. I mean, that's exactly what it's called, a guide coat, and that's exactly what it does. So we'll just go through here, just lightly dust it on. That's all you need to do. I know a lot of you watching have seen me do this 100 times, but some people don't know what this is, so I like to just kind of give them a little reminder every now and then. So anyway, I'm going to do this over the whole car, and then we're going to unwrap it and see exactly what we're working with. All right, now that we got all the guide coat, just going through here, just peeling all my tape loose, getting all the masking off. I just don't know of any easier way to mask than doing the old back taping trick. I used to hate masking, and when I learned that trick, it made everything so much easier that it just doesn't bother me to mask anymore, to be honest with you. I actually kind of enjoy it. It's kind of relaxing, to be honest. And look how easy that is. Just all goes around underneath the lip there. Super simple. Throw that right back off of there. Made a nice seal, you know, to keep all your overspray out of there. And also, it's not always just about overspray. I think I may have mentioned this before. Sometimes it's about dirt. I mean, you definitely want this area to stay sealed up. You don't want to be in here painting and then blowing any kind of loose dirt, dust, things like that might have accumulated inside of this trunk. Now, when we go to paint this, we'll blow all this out the best we can, but you still want to seal those areas up. You want to seal all, you know, the cabin area, everything. You want it all sealed up. You don't want to be blowing any of that dirt around. Well, there you have it, you guys. What do y'all think? Leave me a comment down in the comment section. I personally think it looks 100 times better than when it got here. She is so smooth. Even at this stage, she is so smooth. Remember how crusty she was before? So, she's taking shape, man. Next step will be to block all that out. So, we got a lot of work left ahead of us. But that's okay. At least the panels are straight now. No more big dents. No more rust holes on this side. This side is done. This side is rust-free, dent-free. All we have left at this point is this other quarter panel. We're going to do a repeat on this side. Exactly what we did on that side over there. We got to fix this. Got a big hole. And we got a hole down there at the bottom. It's going to have to get fixed. And that one needs some inner structural repair. So that's what we'll be doing next. Got a little more paint to come off just in this area. And of course, we'll do that when we do all of that quarter over there. The roof's done. That's a big panel to have out of the way. Of course, next we'll do deck lid and hood. And at that point, we won't have any more paint to strip. So we're getting there. Now, of course, over on the other side, we'll have to do the jam and everything, just like we did this side, pull the doors off. That's a shame because we got those doors lined up just right. I mean, they're spot on, looking really good, but that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you got to build things and then turn around and rebuild them again. That's just part of it. So anyway, we'll pull those doors out of there. We'll strip it all down just like we did this on all the jams. All of those jams on the other side will get stripped just the same. And also, you guys, we're going to have to flip these doors over and strip down the back sides of them as well. So, like I said, we've got work. We've got plenty of work ahead. So, we're plugging away. We'll get it all done. It's taking shape. But like I mentioned earlier, you guys, it's getting late. I've been at it all friggin' day and half the night. So, I am turning in. We'll get out here tomorrow. We'll start the blocking process. Get all that taken care of. But for now, I'm going to bed. So thanks for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Hit me up on Instagram, WeirdBeard on Instagram, and also WeirdBeard on Facebook. I'll get out of here. I'm tired of chewing your ear off. I'm rambling. I'm tired. I'll see y'all later.